Hello YouTube, it's the Demon Turtle, and today I'm going to be answering Damian Barber's question. He said, please make a video on creating outdoor maps. I've never watched, except for your first map, any of your videos. I found the first one very insightful. If you do make time for another map video, I'd like to see one on outdoor maps and re-key mapping. Thanks. Well, first I'm going to address re-key mapping. I'm assuming you mean changing the controls in Doom Builder, and this is really easy to do, so I'll just go through it really quick. So you're just going to go up to Tools here and go down to where it says Preferences and click on Controls. And here you can remap any key in all of the Doom Builder's controls and functions. So I like to leave them at default because that's how my workflow has always been done. And yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. But anyway, now let's get into outdoor areas. I've set up a few little boxes here that I'm going to show you guys how to do outdoor areas in. And just using sky textures in general. So first I have this blank box, and I'm just going to go into things mode and put my player start down. So now if we go into 3D mode by clicking Q, we just have this normal room with our player start in it. So what we're going to do, it's really easy, is just go up to the ceiling texture, right click, and change ceiling, click on it, and in the filter type in sky. The texture you're looking for is right here, f_sky1. And so when we change it to that, you get this kind of ugly looking sky texture. But if we go and test out our map, you'll see that it's not just a sky texture, and in fact is the entire skybox. So right here, that's just really easy, really simple to do. That's how to make a basic outdoor area. But there's a lot more nuance to making outdoor areas. So I'm going to move the player start over here, and we're going to use this area now. So what we're going to do in this example is where the player start is in this sector, this is going to be an indoor area, and this over here is going to be outdoors. So we're going to go over here and change the ceiling texture once again to sky 1. And now watch what happens when I test the map. So cool, we have this outdoor area. But I turn around and you have this ugly thin ceiling. Now, it doesn't look very realistic at all. This isn't something that you would want to have in a polished, finished map, unless maybe you're doing some abstract mapping or something. So we're going to fix that really quick. We don't want our ceiling to be super thin like that. So we're going to go back into 3D mode, and I'm going to left click on the ceiling and drag it down. I'll drag it maybe this far. That's fine. And then we have this big missing texture here. It might be red exclamation marks to you. I'm using a different version of Doom Builder. And we're just gonna Control C on this texture, Control V over here, and then you'll see the texture's misaligned. You can use your arrow keys to fix that. And then A to align all the surrounding textures. And so now you'll notice we have this nicer area. And if we go hit play again, you'll see that it looks more like an indoor area, right? You have this big thick ceiling instead of just that weird abstract looking, kind of glitchy looking ceiling. But the last thing we can do to make it look the most realistic is using sector lighting. This is the best way to fool your audience into this being an outside area. So if you go back into your 3D mode, I just like to edit in this because it's the most visually acceptable way of teaching. So if you hold Control when you're looking at the sector and then scroll, you get to change the brightness, right? Well, you'll see the brightness in the bottom left corner says 160 right now for this. And so outside, let's raise it to let's do 224. That's pretty bright. And then in here, we'll do 160. That's fine. And maybe let's make it more believable. Let's we can even change this to a grass texture or something. So just type in grass. Get this nice grass texture, and then we can change this to just something that's not the same floor texture I've seen every single time I've loaded up Doom Builder. You can scroll through and find one you like. I like this one, and you could even do something like oops. You could even do something like having a step here and replacing this with a step texture. Oops. So you can go where it says steps and take like this texture. And now that we've changed the lighting to 160 to 224. We have an appropriately sized ceiling area, and we have a step down to change textures into grass. You'll see how much more convincing it looks as an outdoor area. See, look at that. This, I barely did anything, just a few little steps in here, and you have this nice convincing outdoor looking area. So now I'm going to show you one more way to kind of use sky textures in your mapping. So I'm going to bring my Doom guy, I'm going to bring him up here. And this is going to be a room with a skybox kind of like in the middle of the room. So if we go into our 3D mode, again, it's just one of these normal rooms. I'm going to hold control and I'm going to lower the brightness in here. Like, we'll do 128, something pretty dark, right? And then we're going to, in the middle of the room, create a sector. And when we go back into 3D mode, you'll see it's right here. And I can change this into sky. Take FSky1, and there's our sky texture. And then same thing applies if we go back into this. You'll see it's weirdly thin ceilings. So we're going to want to change that. We'll go into 3D mode, and we'll raise this up a little bit. That's probably fine. And then change these textures to be, I'll just use the same step texture I used before, and Control-C, Control-V, Control-V, Control-V. And then the last thing we're going to do is raise the brightness of this. So we'll raise it like 208 is maybe a little bright. We'll go to like 192. And now you'll see we have this nice looking sky texture up there. Although the ceiling looks a little bit thin. We could make it a little bit thicker to just make it look a little bit more realistic. And the other thing you can do to add a little bit of realism is to add kind of a gradient from light to dark. So right now we have this is all super bright and then it's super dark. Well, you could change your pixel size to like 16 or something. Grab your line tool and draw a few more lines around your original line. We'll do 3, just for the sake of example. And now if you go back into your 3D mode, you'll see we have rings. Well, this is brightness 192, so let's bring this one up to 176, and then this one will bring up to 160, and then this one will bring up to 144. And now when we load up the map, we have kind of a little bit of better gradient lighting. And so yeah, that's kind of how you can use outdoor textures or skyboxes in your maps to make them look a little bit better, and just how to design outdoor areas in general in Doom. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave a comment on what I should do next, because I read all of your comments and they're awesome. So thanks a lot. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.